Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is episode number 201. I'm Kier, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts Emerson
Hey, what's going on?
and Everett.
Hey, what's up?
So this is just going to be a smaller episode today. We are doing the second episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier in full spoilers. And then we'll do some news at the end. All right. Who wants to go first? You want to rate it, Emerson?
Yeah, sure. So I would give this a draw. There were some really interesting storylines, and I rated the first episode a win. This is a draw. There were some interesting storylines, and there were very interesting parts that I wanted the show to show us more of. However, I really am not a big fan of the buddy cop dynamic. We talked about this on the last episode, how we thought this was probably going to get a little tedious, and I just didn't like it. There were scenes within the buddy cop dynamic that were somewhat interesting, but them having a group therapy session, them staring at each other and quipping at one another isn't really what I was interested in. I was far more interested in Bucky being angry that Wilson gave up the shield. Not, oh, we're going to stare at each other until we get to Germany, or, oh, group therapy session, we're going to, touch legs for some reason. That I really didn't like. So I can't give that a win. However, I do like the John Walker stuff, the U.S. agent stuff. The Flag Smashers seem interesting.
Yeah, the white
and
people stuff's pretty good, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then I liked... well, hey, I don't like Bucky's nonsense. And then it was cool to see the other Captain America. I don't know his name, but I guess he was Captain America in another comic.
Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah. So that was cool, and that was a cool dynamic. And there was some interesting, societal commentary that was good. But I guess we'll see Zemo next episode, so that'll be cool. But I just hope they dial back on they're a wonky buddy cop duo fighting each other. I like it more when they're serious and talking about serious things.
Okay, Everett?
Yeah, I'm going to give this a draw as well. Just like what Emerson said, the buddy cop stuff is really not fun to sit through. Especially for me, I'm really not a fan of the type of acting where it makes it seem like they're improvising, but you can't tell whether they're not or they are. They did it in Ghostbusters. They did it in a couple other comedy films. That's found in comedy films, basically.
So you're saying you don't like it when they're probably riffing, they probably did multiple takes and they just used one of them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying I don't like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It doesn't seem genuine. And it doesn't feel like it's how do I explain it? It doesn't fit very well in this setting, in my opinion. I would have preferred it if it was a little bit more scripted, and it's a little annoying. But besides that, the episode was okay. I enjoyed it pretty well. Okay. But they left it off to where I'm sort of excited for the next one. I'm really excited to see what happens next week.
I am going to give this a win. I pretty much disagree with you guys on everything.
So you don't like the Walker stuff? You don't like...
No, I like the Walker stuff, but I thought that the Walker stuff was really good, and some of the other stuff was really good, and some of the stuff that I thought was bad, you guys thought was good. So I give it a win. But there were some issues that I didn't like. Let's talk about Walker.
All right.
I like him.
Yeah, I like his dynamic. I like the dynamic between him and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I like where he's kind of going, that he's making an effort and that he's not just cartoonishly evil.
Yeah, I think it's a smarter play. Instead of making him like the government's puppet, basically a fascist, which I think that's what he is in the comics. He could be like Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
The only question I have, though, so he doesn't have a super soldier serum?
No, he's just trained with the shield.
So this is insane to send him on actual missions then.
Yeah, because he just has the shield.
I mean, they send Falcon on actual missions, and he has no super soldier serum.
Yeah, he has a suit.
But he can fly.
Okay.
They
could just shoot Walker and he's dead.
But he has a vibranium shield.
He just has a shield.
But
you
that's
can't.
it.
What is he gonna do against just a random thug with a gun?
Hit him with the
or
shield?
Two thugs. Yeah,
No.
What happens when there's two thugs? One to the
You
left.
throw
one
the
to
shield,
right.
and the shield hits both of them.
No. He shields himself from the bullets, and then he can't move because they're gonna shoot him.
Yeah,
That's what happens. And
I
by the
mean,
way, the shield can't cover his entire body, so he's gonna get shot in the ankle, fall on the floor, and then they're gonna put a gun to his head. And
well,
kill
the
him.
answer to that question happened in this episode. He throws the shield, he's left defenseless, and then he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was kind of defenseless without the shield. Like he threw with the
He's
shield.
nothing without. I could probably beat him. It's not like he has like specific martial arts training. He has like military training. So he especially in the MMA world now that we live in, where like everybody kind of knows what a triangle choke is or something like that. Like you're not your average guy, but your average athletic guy knows a little bit. So he's not even like, you have to assume he's kind of past his prime athletically too. Like he looks like he's past 30, maybe 35, which would be right at the end of the prime. And his whole job is to day in, day out, like go fight people hand to hand, throw the shield. Like throwing that shield and catching it at the speed that it's coming, for a normal person, it would destroy your shoulders. Like, you can't take that impact. It's crazy. I mean, I know this is a comic book show and it's like, who cares? But just the idea, like when he shows up and his friend is there too, I'm like, these guys, what are they going to do against super soldiers? Punch them? He doesn't even have a gun. So that part doesn't make sense.
No, Captain America had a gun.
Yeah, he had a pistol that he waited until the end to pull out. It's like, you're going to die. You can't compete with these people. It's a superhero world. I mean, think about it. You're talking about like even in today's world, that would be crazy. But in the Marvel world where there's literally superheroes and like anything could theoretically happen, the guy's running around in like Kevlar with a shield and a pistol that he tends to not use, or like he wants to like get the people to surrender.
It is kind of funny. They have like the literal reverse of what's been going on in the MCU. Normally it's Captain America, the super soldier, versus a bunch of military guys with military training. Now it's a bunch of super soldiers versus one guy with
And even then it was
training.
flimsy because Captain America gets shot and he bleeds. Like we saw his in the Winter Soldier, Bucky shoots right through his armor. So it's not like he's bulletproof, which is like, okay, well then how is he? Essentially, you're saying he's like a morale booster because he's not actually doing things. Like even if you could like jump over a car, what is that really going to do for you?
It's funny you mentioned the Winter Soldier because I had a thought. So it's basically the general consensus that Captain America is the greatest super soldier ever created, right? Like he's like the definitive super soldier with the serum.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I mean, in terms of like being a soldier and doing your job, I don't know. I mean, you could argue Bucky. You could argue even some of these people. Like,
Well,
he doesn't do anything that's like he's going to change the outcome of the battle.
Well, here was my thought process. Captain America was, like, in my opinion, the greatest super soldier ever created. Bucky beats the literal shit out of him in the Winter Soldier to the point where he literally has to save his life from that river.
Yeah, and
Bucky,
and
in
Steve
turn,
kinda
then gets
let
his
him.
ass handed to him in this episode.
I think the power scaling is all over the place. Like you're right. I don't know why Bucky got his ass kicked so bad. Falcon makes sense because, and by the way, Falcon's a moron because his only advantage is flight, and the first thing he does is land on the truck, and then they just grab him.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, that whole action sequence was pretty bad. I don't hate it in overall, but when you actually look at what they're doing, like the choreography, none of it makes sense. They're not doing anything that makes sense. Why is what's his name there? Why does Walker get on the truck? Like, you're not a super soldier. Why are you on a truck where they could just push you off? And
It would have been more effective if he showed up with like a minigun on the helicopter.
a Humvee or something. Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, do the soldier thing. Don't do the hero thing.
I'm
You're
assuming
not a hero.
I'm assuming there's going to be an arc here where he tries to get the super soldier serum from the Flag Smashers.
Probably, yeah. I mean, the show didn't seem to think that they were incredibly outmatched. It was more like we just lost. But I'm like, but logistically, you cannot fight even one of these people. And for some reason, Bucky couldn't either. I just don't get that. So I didn't like that. But I like Walker. But I liked him at the beginning. I liked him more because I thought he had the serum or something. Then when I realized that he's literally just a guy running in and just sort of arguing like, I mean, he's a media piece, right? It's weird that they would even send him on actual missions. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's strange, but I think they kind of have to. Also,
Do they?
he's yeah, because he needs to be like doing stuff. The other thing is, remember, based on
Does
how
he
he
though?
talks.
Because we do like drone strikes now.
Yeah, I know, but if he's going to be Captain America, he should be going out and doing Captain America things, and then
For PR
also,
stunts, yeah.
yeah, but also like he's an operator, right? He's a special forces guy, so he wants to be doing stuff.
Right, but this doesn't go with any of his training. I'm sure he had a gun in his hand in every scenario. What is this? Like, what is he actually doing? He's like a moron. Parading around in some brightly colored outfit. Like, he's actually kind of making a case why Captain America shouldn't exist.
I mean,
he's completely ineffective.
he clearly wants to be involved. So who knows? Like he's just like, I'm doing what I'm doing.
So they show that scene where he's in the locker room, and I like it. He's got a wife. He's got a black sidekick, which I thought Bucky was going to point that out when they were all in the car together. Like finally look like because they finally look at the guy and they're like, "Who are you?" But he should have been like, I think
Battlestar.
I think Bucky could have got away with it, being like, "So what are you, his black sidekick?" I think Bucky could have done it. Sam can't do it because it's an insult to himself, but Bucky could insult both of them. I don't think it's
Bucky's
racist.
from like the 30s or something.
No, it's not a racist thing to say. Steve had a black sidekick. In the comics, he has a black sidekick too, and now this guy has a black sidekick. Like, it's not racist to say, "Hey, I noticed you're black and you're the sidekick." But maybe it wouldn't play. I mean, they're being so social justice-y in the show, so maybe they're like, "No, we can't even address the fact." Then why would you give him a black sidekick? Like, why not make him Hispanic or something?
Well,
Latinx?
just before we continue on. So far it sounds like we're mostly all in agreement. So what do you disagree with me and Everett on?
So I liked Walker, but I think you guys didn't like the banter, which I think that the banter has to be there.
You mean the banter with Walker?
No, the banter with Bucky and with Falcon.
Okay, because okay, so let me give you an example. I like when Bucky gets mad at Falcon for giving up the shield, and Bucky's and
that's
Falcon
not banter,
is saying, okay, so then what do you mean by
like
banter?
Bucky jumps out of the helicopter and Falcon's like, I got that all on video. I like
Yeah,
it.
but why though? It's just I don't
It
enjoy
has to
that.
be there. There has to be humor to it. There's
But
no
there-
scenario where this show even exists without that.
There's like two different variants of it, though. There's one version of it that seems more serious and scripted, like when they're about to enter the plane and they're talking about like the big three, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I read The Hobbit when it first came out." Like that kind of banter, I'm okay with. But when they're in the warehouse and they're like riffing, that's the kind of stuff that annoys me. If they kind of leveled it out a little bit, that I'd be fine with it, because they already have that type of relationship anyway, so it makes sense.
I just don't see a version of the show where they don't play that aspect up.
I mean, maybe not, but another example is I didn't like their group therapy session.
I didn't like the therapy session, but not because of the banter. I thought the banter was okay when she's like, "Now say something nice about him," and he was about to say something bad, and his mouth is like half open, and he like can't think of anything. I like it. That's okay. I like that, and I think that not to say that I'm in the majority, because the majority just eats whatever shit gets thrown into their mouth, but I think that the moments like that was was exactly how the show was pitched. Like, there was no, this is like the golden nugget of why this show even exists.
I
because of
agree,
the
and like
banter.
in the trailers it was played up, but that's one of the things I disliked the most in the trailers. That it looked like it was just going to be quippy.
I just don't see. I can't imagine them being like, "Hey, we're gonna make this show about Bucky and Falcon," because they've had like funny banter in the previous movies. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna just make it super serious. Like, they're just not. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but then like I don't know. I enjoy the serious parts much more, and
I agree. I think that they should have done more of it, but I'm not necessarily advocating for less of the banter. Like, when they're talking about how Sam sort of got screwed on the Falcon thing, I would like that to be a much more emotional scene. Like
Yeah.
they could have gotten into a fight over it, which of course Bucky would have won. But then it'd be like the white man beat the black guy, so they wouldn't want to do that. But it would be better if there was like some real emotion because they were just kind of arguing. But I want to explore that conversation. I want to explore the fact that there is a new Captain America and what does that mean to the world, and I want to see more of what he's doing on a serious side.
I agree.
It seems like we're already past that because the villain has been set up and Walker is activated and the relationships have been like created. So
It's disappointing.
Yeah, we're not going to get any more of like. I want to see his life with the media and the photo shoots. I want to see that. I would even take a whole episode of that.
And just for a moment, you mentioning that you think this show was pitched and like you mentioned like I think I'm in the majority but not, an idiot. On the Marvel Studios subreddit, people are posting clips and saying, "Oh, do you know this scene refers to racism in the US?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am aware that's what the
I kind of picked that up.
They're terrible.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
So I actually like the black sidekick, whatever his name is, Battlestar.
Battlestar? I don't have any issues. I haven't really seen he hasn't done a ton yet.
Well, he shouldn't be there. Neither should Walker. So it's almost like you can't really get mad at him because Walker is terrible too.
That was my favorite part in the entire episode when they're sitting in the car. He's like, "Battlestar, stop the car!"
Yeah,
that was my favorite line.
What was that? I thought I misunderstood. I thought Battlestar he was saying that was like the organization that they're a part of.
No, that's his name. Like his code name.
Is that what they said in the
stupid.
show? That he called himself Battlestar?
Yes, that's what they said in the show. His name
he
is
calls
Battlestar.
himself Battlestar.
Yes.
Okay, it's not only is it kind of a silly name, but it's stupid just because they're not superheroes. Like they don't have a name.
Yeah.
They're just guys. So anyway,
that's what makes it funny. Like they're just shitting on Steve's legacy at this point.
yeah. I see. I didn't get that because Jade's like, "What's Battlestar?" And I was like, "I don't know. I assumed it was some faction from the comics that they were working with, some like government agency." I didn't understand that was his name. So I like the guy in general. Like you can't get mad at him for existing if you're okay with Walker. Did you notice that at the high school stadium they were playing the Star Spangled Man song? Mm-hmm. Let's see. So I like I'm just looking at the recap. So the Flag Smashers, their whole thing is basically like we think that the resources were easier to get during the blip, and we want to keep that going.
I think their logic is they want a world without borders, so they want free unified resources and, like I said, no borders. But the main thing I got was they were talking about.
That doesn't even make sense though.
It doesn't make sense, but they also were talking about they want justice in a way, because like all the political leaders came back after the blip and they immediately regained power, and they liked the world that existed before they came back.
Yeah, but their ideology seems to be unclear because they want a world without borders. Yeah, they also seem to be angry that the politicians are like in charge, but then they're also mad that people are trying. They say they're spending too many resources on the people who left and not enough on the people who never went away, which is kind of like, I understand, but it's also kind of stupid because it's like, what are you supposed to do with these people who came back? You have to help them.
Yeah, because their houses were sold to you for dirt cheap because there was no buying market.
Exactly. Their houses are gone. Their money was probably like taken. Yeah. Like I guarantee if you had money in a bank, the bank just took the money for itself.
Yeah.
Whoever
you bought 5 houses for the price of a paper bag. And
exactly.
People come back and it's like, you can't be like, whoa, what about us?
I don't really buy the whole Flag Smashers issue. Those fucks probably bought up whole neighborhoods and are angry it's getting repossessed and given back to the people who took it.
Also, you can't have a world without borders because we have natural borders, like oceans.
Yeah.
So and also, what are they talking about?
Yeah, I have no idea. And also, they all seem to be at least white Europeans. So do they mean a white or like a multi-European world without borders?
Europe, yeah.
Or do they really want America involved in that? Should Captain America be without the borders? Do they want Russia? Like where?
It almost like if you were happy with the blip, these people should basically be like, Thanos was right. We're fanatics. Let's kill half the population again, but we have to do it the hard way. So they're just straight terrorist people, and they got access to the serum, which I still don't know how that's possible.
I'm assuming it's the power broker.
So we have a problem here where it seems like the serum is just everybody has it now. Everybody that we want to have it.
But then
Doesn't have
remember
it.
how Walker has a really good line where he says, "No offense, Bucky, the serum doesn't have a great track record." He's kind of reminding you that when it was recreated, it could drive you insane. Remember?
So am I missing this? But did we establish that there were like more serums?
I don't
The
think
only
so. There was the original one, and there was the one used in Civil War.
So
to
we
create...
have Red Skull that didn't work, or maybe it did work, whatever.
well, that was the same serum that worked on Captain America. The only thing that changed was his morality sense.
Yeah,
The serum
face.
like
I'm not sure that not sure that holds up anymore. Like
it amplified the person's everything, including their personality.
Okay, so it was like a crazy strong dose. Now, then they had the Russian version, right? That they
The one that
gave,
worked on
Hydra
Bucky.
version.
that they gave to Bucky and to those other guys, whatever they were
Well, I don't think that's. I think they're two different versions. I think the one they gave to Bucky was different because he didn't necessarily go nuts. He just was under their control.
Well, it's from the same source, is the point.
Same source, but the one they gave to the other people, like, literally
So-
drove them insane.
That was Hydra. They experimented with people, and then we don't really know what else they did beyond that, right?
Yeah.
Then it seems like America had their own version also
that they've been using on people,
this whole time, but never thought to like.
mass produce it.
I mean, I don't know. Like if we had an Avengers team and I was a politician, I'd be like, maybe we should give Falcon the serum, or
Exactly.
or
Well, you
like
know what,
maybe just give it to
Tony
all of them.
Stark gets the suit and the serum.
Maybe
so
we should,
when he falls
yeah,
into the suit.
like maybe we should give it to everybody, like all of our soldiers. I don't know, like
Yeah, and then just destroy. But here's what doesn't
all
make
our
sense, right?
Navy
So
SEALs, right?
I loved Isaiah's like I thought it was really cool visiting Isaiah, but it raises a lot of strange questions. Like he was the Captain America, so they gave him the serum, but then they like kept him in a cage and tested him, and there's the racial dynamic, but why were they running tests on him if they had the serum? And then why haven't they given it, why did it go Isaiah and then they stopped after Isaiah?
Well, it didn't stop. I mean, what
It
happened
seems
was
like-
Who did
Hulk.
they give it to?
It seems like they experimented on black people, is what they're saying, right?
Right, and I understand that, and the racial element
And
of
possibly
that.
Isaiah was the only one that survived. I'm guessing.
Well, this was the Korean
That's like
War,
a,
right?
That's
What
like
year
a
was
common
that?
trope. That was in the 50s, wasn't it?
Yeah, 53.
So, so that it's a common trope. Like he's the strong one. He's the only one that survived. So, okay, maybe you say, okay, Isaiah was the only one, but they have a serum. Anyway, we're not quite there yet.
Well, there's one more thing. A lot of people forget that. Remember, Bruce Banner was trying to recreate the serum when he became Hulk.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why they didn't really show it off, because of like all the problems.
I mean,
they
if
had.
you're gonna explain it as Isaiah as like a one-off that actually worked, fine. But I don't. But anyway, we'll get there in a second. Apparently, so this is about Hoskins, Walker's sidekick. Mm-hmm. He was called a bold urban commando, or Buck. So basically,
I read about this.
he is literally like supposed to be Bucky. Also, I didn't like that they were like Walker and Hoskins were calling Bucky. Like,
Well, I think we're not supposed to like that. I think it's supposed to be like, what the fuck?
yeah, I'm surprised he didn't say anything like my name's James or something. Also,
yeah, I'm used to have
Or
other people calling him James.
Corporal Barnes.
Bucky is
Sergeant Barnes.
Bucky's a silly name. So yeah, his name is also later changed to Battlestar. He underwent treatment by the Power Broker and gained superhuman abilities.
Okay, well, that sounds like what's going to happen because we've got this power broker who's trying to kill the Flag Smashers, right? Because that was in this episode.
Yeah, I kind of thought the Power Broker was going to be Zemo, but we'll see.
He could still be, like, quietly.
Let's see. I'm just going through this.
They well, I mean, they're gonna break Zemo out. Not break him out. He's gonna break out somehow. Maybe.
So then we have the big fight on the truck. That's terrible. I mean, they fail pretty hard. The show like acknowledges that, but I still don't understand how Bucky gets so wrecked. And Walker's main contribution to the fight is saving Hoskins, which is like, okay, Maybe you shouldn't have even brought him then. And then, so it's revealed that the Flag Smashers leader is named Carly Morgenthau, a play on the Marvel Universe villain named Carl Morgenthau. The alias of the villain, known as the Flag Smasher, was a terrorist who fought Captain America as Steve Rogers, but was actually also a brief ally of John Walker. That was in the comics. So then they go to meet Isaiah, and it becomes about systematic racism. So they have Isaiah, and then they just let him go? Like, he's just free? He's a free man now?
I guess. I don't... Maybe we'll get expanded... Because I hope he comes back, and we get a little more of, like, his story.
Imagine if he's in a fight scene.
I mean, he could be. I don't know, though.
See, he seems way more powerful than Bucky.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Like, with the...
Well, he said he beat Bucky, remember?
He beat Bucky and even ripped off part of his arm. Like, that's insane. You're saying he ripped off a vibranium arm?
Well,
oh, wait,
it wasn't
before.
vibranium back then, no.
Still, Cap didn't do that. Maybe he didn't try, but I don't think he could have done that.
I mean, yeah. Also, Bucky's very limited. That arm, that metal arm, only has so much power. The rest of him is...
No, he's a superhuman. He can run really fast.
Yeah, but, like, the metal arm, I feel like, can limit at some point.
Well, the metal arm is like you playing medic, where he starts to focus on just using the metal arm. Instead of, like, he forgets that he can actually be a super soldier, too.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, a machine only has so much power before it stops working.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's also superhuman beyond the arm. So, like, it's not just about the arm for him. He's essentially equal with Steve Rogers, isn't he? If not better.
Yeah, and in fact, the arm kind of gives him an advantage.
It does.
Because the arm, like, I know whatever it's saying about, like, a machine only has, like, an extent to where it can go, but his arm seems to be infinite energy source, and it's definitely, like, stronger than Steve Rogers' normal arm.
Yeah.
Especially now, it's made of vibranium.
Right, but even before, in Winter Soldier, his arm was fucking Steve up.
Imagine if I'm wrestling him. Let's just say that we're both super soldiers, but if I'm wrestling him, I can't fight that metal arm. Like, I can't control the metal arm. Like,
yeah, and then his other arm is equal to you.
Yeah.
Because you're super soldier. So it's like, shit.
Yeah, so he's theoretically a pretty badass person. So it seems like Isaiah, just on what we saw, like him throwing that thing, it seems like he's really strong. And then based on the battle we saw with Bucky, it seems like Bucky's, like, has lost a step.
Yeah.
He might need to be put out to pasture.
And, you know, the meta commentary here would be that they didn't want to spend more CGI budget this early on Bucky.
Yeah, I would say, like, maybe not have a fight on a moving truck, because I don't really know that I needed
CGI
that.
intensive.
Yeah, it was bad. And also, like, all you can really do is people get knocked off the truck. Like, that's pretty much...
Yeah, and the CGI of Bucky running in front of the truck was not great.
And and also Falcon, like, immediately landing on the truck.
Yeah, well, the danger of this is callbacks to Civil War, but Civil War looked really good, them sprinting through the dark tunnel. Yeah. And, like, the camera angles of them sprinting was really nice. Yeah. Black Panther and everybody. But here, also, I'd like to point out, this really drove me nuts when I watched it. There's two semi-trucks, right? Yeah, Bucky runs in front of one of them, jumps up, unlocks the back, and walks in. He's in front of the back truck. The guy's looking at it.
I actually assumed that they were drone trucks. But then it seems like, no, they're... Yeah.
So there was a guy just looking at him as he was doing this, and he's shocked. Like...
Yeah. So here's what we know about Isaiah. Isaiah was a hero, one of the men that Hydra feared the most, and he even fought against Bucky back in 1951. I would like to see that scene. And then they put him in jail for 30 years. America has a habit of burying the legacy of its black heroes, and the fact that the government experimented on Isaiah also speaks to dark chapters in history of this country.
Okay.
I don't understand. How could they just put him in jail for 30 years?
Well, I mean, the answer would be they're racist pieces of shit, but, like, I feel like he could escape.
Also,
yeah, I know.
Why don't you just kill him?
I know. Well, that's we need to see more. because
like, hey, Isaiah, you're back from war. Thanks. Let me shake your hand, and a guy stands behind you, puts a bullet in the back of your head. I mean, why would you put him in jail for 30 years? Like,
I don't know. What I'm assuming, this is why I hope we see more like a flashback of him fighting Bucky, and then a flashback of why he gets jailed. I know it's not a legitimate reason, but we need to see like why, like what happened, you know?
and then there's weird things like Bucky says that he knew but didn't tell Steve because he didn't want to bother him or like worry him.
Yeah. What's his name? Isaiah had suffered enough.
Yeah,
Is what he said.
I guess. I mean, if he wasn't being active, but I would still tell Steve, like, hey, by the way, there was one before, and there may be many more.
Yeah. Well, like we have no idea how many are out there.
Just a heads up. On that
in all
one.
fairness, though, he didn't have much time, right? Because he goes from brainwashed to hiding, so no one knew where he
guess,
was,
yeah.
to Public Enemy, to Wakanda, to Snapped.
And they actually mentioned the White Wolf thing.
Yeah, they
So
did.
Yeah.
now I'm thinking, is he the White Wolf because his skin is white? Is that what
I-
what they meant by that?
I don't know.
Then
it
everybody in
seems-
Wakanda was really racist.
Well, they do call it the Black Panther.
Yeah, and they have that joke about the Black Falcon.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going
Well,
to say.
didn't he call him the White Panther?
Who?
Remember, didn't Sam call Bucky the White Panther? He's like, it's actually the White Wolf.
Yeah. He did. That's what I'm saying. Like, it
Yeah.
seems to be based on his skin color and not like, I thought the White Wolf was like symbolic of rebirth, something like that. And I'm like, well, how come they never made an attempt to give him a white outfit?
Dude, thank God, like, there wasn't an Asian person in Wakanda if this is their naming convention.
Yeah. So yeah, he references that. I think that Wakanda would have been a better place for Bucky to stay, but it would have screwed everything up now because Chadwick's gone. Like, you could never show Wakanda, at least not yet. So yeah, we have that whole Black Falcon thing, and he's like, "No, I'm not Black Falcon. I'm just Falcon." But then he does say you're the White Panther, like, because you're white, right?
Yeah.
What that is referencing is when they say like it's a black superhero film. It's like, no, it's not a black superhero film. It's a superhero film. There's black people in it. It's about black people, but it's just a superhero film. Like, you know, because it's kind of racist. People try to give it like more praise because of that. Oh, it's a black led whatever. It's like, what you're saying is that the black version of this is not the same as every
the
other
white
version.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. And actually, if you remember, Anthony Mackie came out and said something about that. Like,
Yeah, he was ranting about it.
why does the director have to be black? Why does everyone on the cast have to be black? Why can't we be in the same movies as other people? Why do we?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be a black thing only? Like, we're not good enough.
Yeah, he was saying, like, why can't we all just be on all movies and everyone's working together? But
Yeah.
I think I remember he specifically called out, like, why are all the staff on Black Panther black? But then, like, oh, they can't be on fucking Civil War?
Right. And it's like, we're going to specifically hire black people for the show. Like, that's not equality. That's segregation.
Yeah, you're just giving them their own thing and saying, be happy. And, like,
He has a point. And also, like, even going further, like Lion King, the new version, the whole cast is black because it's from Africa. It's like, yeah, but it's lions. There's not a single black person in the movie. There's no people there. So why did everyone have to be black? I mean, except for like the two other characters that were like Zazu and Timon were white. Like, you segregated. I don't know. It's just a voice. It doesn't have to be whatever. So anyway, he's like black, and then we have this. What I think is, I think Emerson, you said you like this. I think this scene is horrible with the cops.
which scene? Well, no, I don't necessarily like it. I understand what is being done. So, like,
It's
yes.
so bad.
It comes
It's
out of
heavy-handed.
nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. It comes directly after the heavy-handed scene with Isaiah.
Well, the Isaiah scene wasn't heavy-handed. I liked
No,
it.
Isaiah was balanced, but this is heavy-handed. I agree it's heavy-handed, but once again, this is something where, like, criticizing this could be dangerous.
So a few people were The problem is, it doesn't even make sense. Like, this is like a black neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
But not really, because if you look around, I was studying this because the cops show up out of nowhere.
Yeah. And
Now-
there are white people in the neighborhood.
There
Like,
are
it's
white people in the
actually
neighborhood
diverse.
too, so it's like I don't know what they're trying to say about it, but when you're in these like lower income areas, the cops don't just patrol around. In fact, it's quite well known that the cops avoid these areas. Like, did you guys know that?
No.
Yes.
Like, even in the game Mafia 3, if you go to like the black neighborhoods, the police response time to the crimes that you commit in there, it's later. Like, it's purposely done that way. It's a commentary.
Yeah, and it's a running like trope of most like cop movies or shows where it's like, no, we don't go in there unless we're in force.
Yeah,
Like,
they go in there to like kill people, like to smash down doors and stuff. They don't go in there to just make sure everyone's doing all right. Like, they don't do that. I mean, everybody knows that. That's the whole point. If there were more cops around, then it wouldn't be such a bad neighborhood. There wouldn't be gangs around, right? It's because these places are just left to their own like chaos. So the cops are there. They're just fucking hanging out. Now, what do they stop him for?
So,
You guys remember?
they're arguing, right? In the street.
is this man bothering you?
Or they're talking. They're just talking.
They're talking.
in the street.
They're talking in this. So the cops come up and they're like, "Oh, who are you? Who are you?" Like, you saw a black guy walking with a white guy. First of all, that would not be the person that you stop, because he's with a white person. So you would assume that he's like okay on some level. If it was like two black guys, just like, in the middle of the day doing nothing. I'm not saying they're up to no good, but that's the kind of person the cops go for. Like, he's walking with a white guy. That almost, this is the racist part, is that almost absolves him of being black, because he's not a threat because he's with a white guy, right? Like, that's how the cops see it. But in this case, they see their main concern seems to be that he's black and walking down the street.
And talking to Bucky. He's like, is this man bothering you?
Well,
It's like,
that's
what?
their second concern. That's not how they start. So, like, then it becomes like, oh, is this guy being disruptive to the white guy after he was walking? Like, they stop him for walking with a white guy. It just doesn't make sense. It's so contrived. It's just so contrived.
It's not realistic, as
at
you
all.
were saying.
But then they try to be realistic, and then you could feel like everybody doing their best work to try to represent the real racism that goes on. But I'm like, but this whole thing is so fucking forced. So then Bucky's like, no, he's not bothering me. Like, why are you, just doing that whole thing? And the cops, oh God. And then he goes,
They're asking for ID.
he doesn't have ID on him?
Well, he says, I don't have it on me. Then Bucky says, just show him your ID. And then he says, no. So he acts like he does have it on him.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that part's fine. And then he goes, yeah, are you bothering him? He says, no. And then he goes, do you know who this guy is? So it's like, okay, so he gets by because he's famous. I get that. You could
Well,
have
that's a
done
little
this
more realistic. That's like the class thing versus
Yeah,
the...
you could have done this way better. Like,
Yeah.
I get this. This was probably the right time to do this too, but the whole thing was just so contrived. And it really felt like this was supposed to be like a big moment where we're supposed to applaud them for doing this. for
Hey, the
putting in
subreddit's
this.
applauding them.
Yeah, it's just so. Also, afterwards, right after the cops leave, Falcon goes, there was a black super soldier, so he just labeled him. Didn't he?
Yeah. And he's like mad specifically that there was a black super
A
soldier
black
and Bucky
super
didn't
soldier?
tell him.
Yeah, I mean, you just did the whole thing where it's like, it's not Black Falcon, it's just Falcon. Like, is he?
Yeah, but
is he like?
is he Black Isaiah?
Well, let me ask you this: did he, after he fought the girl, was he like, there's a female, like, seemingly half black, half Irish super soldier? No, he didn't care. He just called her super soldier. So why is he labeling the black people?
I don't know.
One argument to that could be like, Black Falcon is a title, but then they did the whole Black Kid, and Kid is not a title. So I don't know. I think that they kind of got lost on there. Like, to them, it's like, oh, it's okay if a black guy does it, is what they're basically saying.
Yeah, I mean, and then, the cops come back and they're like, sorry, Barnes, there's a warrant for your arrest.
Yeah. So, is it? Do you guys think that Isaiah's coming back?
I hope he comes back. I don't think I don't expect an action scene per se. It'd be cool if there was one, if it was done right. But we definitely need to have another conversation with Isaiah and like learn more about what happened there.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Unfortunately, I think the only way he's coming back is an action sequence, and I'm not sure I want to see it necessarily.
Yeah, because it's like an old man.
Then at the end of the scene, Bucky is arrested.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that was I like that part. And then they have like the couples therapy, which, so
I did not enjoy it.
okay, I liked it. But
I enjoyed aspects of it
remember when they were having that staring contest?
in the plane.
And it's like, and it's like showing their close up of their faces. Mackie has a lazy eye. And I'm like, where's he looking? I don't know.
Jesus.
I didn't notice that.
So yeah, he has one. I mean, it's no big deal, but he has one. So then they have the counseling session. I liked it. I thought it was funny. Jay thought it was funny. I mean, I would expect her to think that was funny.
I just wasn't as interested. Like, they're doing group therapy now. Like, they're like going up right next to each other. What I liked in that scene is I liked when Bucky said, "If he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me."
Well, okay. So first of all, it's absurd that Falcon's even a part of it. That makes no sense. She tries to explain it, but it doesn't make sense. But whatever. I was surprised that I didn't hate it. Now I will say what you just said, Emerson. The part where Bucky like has the revelation, also pretty cringy, I think.
I mean, it was cringy, but at least it was something serious. I don't want like, oh, every episode they're gonna have a therapy moment.
Yeah, but the fact that it comes out of there, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
Yeah, I mean, but that's better than them like touching legs with each other while they stare into each other's souls.
I think it's terrible when people have conversation like dialogue and they realize something because they say it out loud. Like I think that's a horrible trope that you see in shows where they'll be like, I think that you were hurting me and now I was just hurting myself. Like they come to the conclusion through the dialogue, and it's supposed to be like this big mic drop moment where they realize like the truth has come out. No, it doesn't work. This is like Bucky doesn't have to come to that revelation in the therapy. He could just say it to Sam. He could just say it. Like Steve trusted you with that the same way he trusted me. Now you've undermined it, proving that he was wrong. So like now it's like he was wrong about me too. Like it doesn't have to be a
and I'd be fine with that type of scene. I'd like that type of scene not in therapy at all. But for me, that was like the part that I was like, okay, at least there was some sort of like conversation in this.
It could have happened in that initial conversation. Bucky should have come in hot. Bucky doesn't have good social skills anymore. He should have come in hot against Falcon. Like what? That's why I said they should have like a fight. Like Bucky should be fucking pissed that Falcon did that. Like, do you understand what this means? Do you understand the implications? You just went against what Steve did. You just ruled against it. And that's another thing the show doesn't really take into consideration. They kind of tiptoe around it. If Nikki told me, hey, you need to do this now. And then after Nikki like died or something, I was just like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm not going to do it. And, you know, it's probably better if we just do the opposite of what you said and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you did a bad thing. Like, you trusted, that person trusted you. You said you were going to do it. He should have refused it there with Steve, not later. You can't refuse it later, change your mind. And if he was going to refuse it, it's not his right to just give it up to the government. Bucky has a claim to that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to talk it over with Bucky. What Falcon did is actually kind of fucked up. Like, he just acted on his own against Steve. That's weird. And they should have hashed that out. It should have been in that initial scene. It did not have to be in therapy. But the therapy was kind of funny. I assume that's the only scene we'll get of them in therapy. Or did the trailer show like a different scene that we didn't see?
No, I think they ended it right there. Remember, like on terms of your release or whatever.
Yeah. I kind of miss more Winter Soldier flashbacks.
I agree. Yeah. I'd like more of those.
Then we see Cap and Battlestar waiting outside for them, and he for some reason says like, hey, like, let's work together, let's be friends. And Falcon kind of makes a good point, like, we can do whatever we want. Although I wanted to ask you guys, where do we stand on the Sokovia Accords? Do they exist?
I have no idea, because it looks like they might exist, but they like don't apply to the heroes who said fuck this.
Yeah.
I'll assume that they were changed during the snap.
I mean, change. I don't know. Do they like? Is anyone in? So War Machine signed.
Yeah, and he seems like he only shows up when there's government approval. Like otherwise, he probably should be here, right?
Who else was on Team Iron Man?
Spider-Man, but
So Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
probably signed. War
Black
Machine
most
signed.
of them are gone.
Vision's dead.
Iron
Black
Man's
Widow's
gone.
dead. Iron Man's dead.
Black Panther was on his team.
Black Panther is also dead.
Well, okay, but
And he's a king, so he's probably like immune to that.
diplomatic immunity's like fuck you.
Now it's interesting when we say like these characters are dead because we talk about how there's almost no deaths from the Infinity Saga except for Iron Man.
Well, Vision's back, so
Vision's back. Black Widow has a
but
movie
he didn't
coming
sign
out.
the accord, so
Yeah. But technically, yeah. So
He's also not a human technically.
and Black
so-
Widow is not, or Black Panther is not dead in the universe yet.
yet.
So really just Black Widow. So I don't understand the Accord. So Falcon exists. He came back from the snap. They were definitely on the run at Infinity War. They came back from the snap. I don't think he signed. Like I would assume he didn't sign, right?
Well,
I
would
guess.
assume.
So he's just allowed to operate, and so is Bucky, although he's been pardoned. I mean, that's kind of weird to pardon him and not regulate him.
I'm surprised they didn't do like a whole like you're now a government contractor as a term for your pardon. You have to work for the government.
He got pardoned by the president, right?
Yes.
I would like to see the president comment on the situation with Captain America and Bucky and all that. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of that.
Out of curiosity, Bucky only got pardoned in America. Does that mean everywhere else he committed war crimes, he's not pardoned? Like if he goes to Britain,
who
or if he
knows?
goes back to Germany, is he still going to be in trouble?
The world's in a terrible state, though. So, okay. So anyway, Falcon's like, "Yeah, we wouldn't work with you." It's like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But then Cap goes, "Stay the hell out of my way." It's like, what? Do you want him to
Well, it's time for them to add the tension and the.
like just so we're keeping up with our count? Bucky is the only super soldier the good guys have.
Yeah.
So
At this
he's
point.
pretty much the only one that could even do anything, aside from like missile striking the people.
Which would probably be effective based on the fact that bullets killed that other flag smasher.
And then so I overall I liked it. And then they pitched Zemo at the end, which is like I like Zemo too. I can't wait to see him do his thing. I like the actor. I like the character. I like the design. He's gonna have the purple mask. I hope I get a figure out of that. I'm good with all this.
You know what I hope happens?
I'm
'Cause,
enjoying the show.
I've noticed during the credit sequence that they have things in there that have not shown up yet. Like they have Sharon Stone in there, but she hasn't shown up,
Right,
so they don't
yeah.
put her credit. They have the words that they say to Bucky in order to activate his conditioning on the wall.
Yeah.
So I wonder if when Zemo shows up, he's going to try that. And he's going to be like,
for
sorry, it
sure,
didn't work anymore.
For sure.
And
He's gonna
see,
try,
yeah,
and then he's just gonna be like, "All right, fuck this. Just put me back in the cell."
But yeah, see, I liked this episode too, but I liked the other one more as it stands right
Well,
now.
the other one tried to come out hard, because remember that was supposed to be the first show on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So you expect it to like come out swinging. It was supposed to.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I suspect I'll like the next episode, but, you know, a lot of this will depend. Like, I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion I personally will not like when Sharon Tate gets introduced again.
Sharon
Like,
Carter.
she'll be fine, but her
Sharon
dynamic
Tate,
will
Sharon
be weird.
Tate is an actress.
Yep, that's the one who got killed by
Yeah. Yeah.
the Manson.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait a minute. How come she didn't get pardoned? How
Sharon
come Sharon
Carter.
Stone didn't get pardoned?
Is she a fugitive still?
Jesus.
Do we know
Not
that?
Sharon Stone. That's also an actress.
Sharon Tate. She didn't
Sharon-
get pardoned because she's dead.
The Sharon from Marvel. Why didn't she get pardoned? Because remember they said she's on the run.
Well, I think they meant that, like,
Well,
because
she
she said,
didn't
remember
fight
what happened.
against Thanos.
Well,
so-
she was an enemy of the state for stealing Cap's shield.
Yeah, but I feel like they said, like, this is what we were. Remember he said, like, we all had to go into hiding. She was branded an enemy of the state. I assume she's okay now. I don't know. I guess they'll
She didn't
explain.
fight against Thanos. I think that was like the criteria. It's
Look,
like,
either
Doctor
way,
Strange, you held water during the battle. You are absolved of all your crimes.
Well, they can't really do anything to him anyway. He'll just dimensionally like rechange
Yeah.
the universe. But I think Sharon. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't know if I'll like her dynamic. I don't know. I suspect it's not gonna be.
I'm surprised they brought her back because she was gonna bang Steve.
Yeah, but now she can choose between the two of them. Maybe it'll be a love
Do you
triangle.
think Steve told Peggy?
I mean, does
listen,
she have Alzheimer's? So even if he did,
He
she
definitely
wouldn't
said
remember.
nothing. He definitely said nothing.
like,
and then he
is
like
gonna
saw
go
her.
back? Yeah.
He like saw her when she was like introduced to him, and he's like, ah, shit.
He's like, he's in the hospital. He's like, hey, you know that baby that's born? He's like, yeah. So the thing is, like, she's gonna be pretty fucking sexy, and like, I may or may not have made out with her, or maybe had sex with her off screen, and I just want to let you know now because I don't know what it's gonna be like when she gets older.
Have you guys ever seen that? I think it's a College Humor skit where they do that. It's like Captain America living at home, and it's like all these events. Like, oh, Steve, look, Kennedy's coming to Dallas. Should we go see him?
What
And
if
he like?
What if he like really can't control himself? Like it's her 12th birthday party and he buys her a bra and they're like, "Whoa, Steve! Like what the?"
Oh my god!
He's like, "Don't worry, she's gonna need it."
Jesus Christ!
I mean, it's fucking weird when you think about it. I don't know that that was the right move for his character. Like, there's so many questions. Is he just gonna be like her uncle? It's fucking
Her
weird.
creepy uncle.
And he's like, "Listen, Peggy, I'm not on a list or anything, but I definitely think we should keep our distance from that child." Because,
I'm Captain America. I can do whatever I want.
like, I just don't think it's a good idea. You know,
For anyone involved, she's looking at him like, what?
yeah, you want to go to the her volleyball game at the high school? They're wearing the short shorts. Listen, I've just seen too much already. I can't do this.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, how does he play that? How does he play that? And
I
then,
don't know.
Yeah, and then Sharon like meets her boyfriend, and like she's like, "I think he's the one," and Steve's like, "Listen, I know for a fact he's not."
Okay, but do we think Sharon's gonna fall in love with the Falcon or Winter Soldier in this show, or like they're gonna have a thing?
Oh God, I didn't even think about that.
Well-
I think that's probably gonna happen. I don't know. Marvel.
I
might
thought
not
she was
do it.
only going to be there for like one episode.
Bucky is definitely Steve's bitch, so it makes sense that he would take his sloppy seconds. Maybe Sam could do it. I feel like the writers would pair Sam with a black woman, just based on what we've seen. I don't think.
He has rights to everything that used to be Steve's. His shield, his uniform, his woman.
Well, he doesn't have rights to it. I think that's the whole point of the show is like he doesn't.
Steve like gives him a list of all the stuff that he like leaves him.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Sharon's
just,
on the list.
it's so weird. Yeah, it's so weird that Steve would be that girl's uncle. Oh God. Okay, here's some other. There are numerous stickers at the Flag Smasher safe house that say Hauser, which is a reference to Harry Hauser, the Marvel host of the Hauser Report, a radio talk show that criticized Sam Wilson after he became Captain America. It gets better. In one arc, Hauser worked with the U.S. agent, Walker, to try and force Sam Wilson's Cap to give up his shield. Is this a hint that Walker's Captain America on the show is working with the Flag Smashers? Probably not.
No, I'm
here's
guessing
another
he's
one.
not.
This is the big one that feels more like foreshadowing than mere Easter egg. Did you notice the kid at Isaiah's house? That's Eli Bradley, the grandson of Isaiah, who would also become known as Patriot in the Marvel world, and even become a member of the Young Avengers, a book that has been rumored to be in the Disney Plus pipeline. So,
Okay.
in the final scenes, Zemo is revealed to be held in cell number 2187. It's a coincidence that Princess Leia was held in cell 2187 also. Yeah. Well, Zemo's definitely going to break out. We know that. All right.
Or I think they're gonna break him out.
We have a guest at our house. I have something else that's a spoiler, I think. I don't know what it is. Okay, wait. Okay, here's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier showrunner addresses theories that Bucky Barnes might be bisexual.
Oh God.
He laughed in response to being asked if the character's sexuality will be definitively answered, saying, "I'm not diving down rabbit holes, but just keep watching." Oh shit. Him and Isaiah.
Why do people feel the need
Okay.
to drag that stuff in where it's not needed?
There's just people that they do that for every single like show that they like. Like,
Yeah,
oh, let's ship the 2 guys, let's ship the 2 girls, whatever. I think that he's either talking about Sharon Carter or Isaiah. Honestly. I mean, he did go on a date with that woman, so he would have to be bisexual. Remember, people were saying that him and Steve were gay, and they kind of were a little bit. Like, it was more on Steve's end though. Steve was like way too nice. Anyway, something else. There was something else. Not this, but Sebastian Stan on Luke Skywalker casting. You know how they say he looks like Luke Skywalker?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if Mark Hamill calls me personally to tell me that he feels inclined to share this role with me, I'll believe it. Until then, I won't believe anything. So I don't think that there's anything in the works, but that would be a good idea. All right, here it is. This is a spoiler. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Marvel Legends action figure reveals John Walker's MCU future.
Okay.
The leak is, I see a Baron Zemo.
Okay.
I see a U.S. agent. He's wearing black and red.
All right.
I can't tell if this is supposed
Isn't
to be
that
like
Hydra colors?
Yeah, I can't tell if this is supposed to be his actual. No,
Captain Hydra.
Yeah, because remember in the comic, Steve Rogers becomes a Hydra agent.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I gotta look at his costume again. I can't tell if the action figure is just dark, or if he's actually wearing black. So this actually didn't tell me that much. It looks black to me.
Okay, so he might not be Hydra.
No, black means he is Hydra.
Okay, wait a
Are
minute.
you sure? Because doesn't he have a black costume when he's just a U.S. agent?
I think it's like blue and
Yeah,
red.
but it's a direct reference to the Hydra Captain America.
You know what would be a
If you
really
look that up.
stupid retcon? So they have Zemo in this show.
Yeah.
And remember what we just said about the conditioning with Bucky, about how he's going to try that and it didn't work?
Yeah.
If they make it so that every single person that has that serum is susceptible to that conditioning, including U.S. Agent if he gets his hands on it eventually, and Zemo like pulls that off, that's going to be so dumb.
I'm not finding a good costume that's black and red and from the comics. I could have sworn he had one that was black and red. So maybe this. Okay, I think that what the leak is trying to say, because each one of these figures comes with like a piece of Captain America Falcon costume.
Okay.
I think maybe what they're saying is like there's going to be a Falcon, which I think did I send you guys that picture?
No.
I have it's just the costume for Falcon. It's like an action figure.
Oh, is it the red, white, and blue one? I think I've seen that.
We've seen it on the socks. I'm gonna send it to you right now. It looks hideous. The costume actually looks awful.
So, but what do you mean that you think there's going to be a Falcon?
There's gonna be a Captain America Falcon figure.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
I
God.
think that might be what the leak is then.
Okay.
Because looking at this figure, I can't tell if it's supposed to be black or blue. So maybe he's just U.S. agent, and maybe
In a
he's
different costume.
Maybe it's just saying that he's going to be. He's not going to remain as Captain America, and there
Which
will be.
we all kind of know.
Yeah, we knew that for sure. So so now you see the costume. It's hideous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as
There's too
it's
much
not
white.
bad. It's not bad as far as like America costumes go, but like I would not be caught dead wearing that.
So much for being a stealthy target, I guess.
I'm wondering like would I buy this figure for the novelty aspect, but I hate it like as a representation of the character. Like it's just ugly. Also, it's too much going on. He has wings, he's America, and he has a shield. And I feel like the shield would kind of hamper like what remember he used guns and stuff.
Yeah, why'd they get rid of his guns? They put it on the drone, which just gets destroyed.
So he has a shield now, but his wings were shields. So it really like he doesn't need the shield.
Honestly, why didn't they just give him vibranium wings?
I mean, well, there could be reasons for that, but the red, white, and blue is just bad. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Is this not just
No.
bad?
No, I agree with you. It's just this is how they like to do it.
There's too
Yeah.
much white. The wings just sort of make it more flashy.
Okay, so I'm willing to abandon this he's Hydra theory. U.S. agent is Hydra.
I think that the series is going to end probably with U.S. Agent just being U.S. Agent, and I would actually like to see him again
Or dead.
in other stuff.
He could be dead. He could
What
be
do you-
assassinated. That would be kind of cool.
Well, that's
Like-
what our original theory was, right?
Like in the like when Steve gets assassinated, I think they should go that way. It would be just a cool moment. Like he saves the day and then gets assassinated.
Sharon assassinates him. She's Hydra.
That could happen. Yeah, that's from the comics. Or Zemo does it. You know?
Well, Crossbones does it, I think, in the comics, but
Crossbones,
is very dead right now.
I forget. Sharon shoots Steve. Right?
but- No.
No, she does it. She does
No,
something.
no.
to
Okay,
him.
in the comics, yes, she's
Yeah.
the one that shoots
But
him.
Crossbones was involved too. What did Crossbones do?
If
I
I
gotta read
remember,
that
okay,
again.
she was brainwashed. I'm pretty sure, but I think he either orchestrated it or he had a hand in it.
By the way,
I don't remember
the
the
arc,
specifics.
the Winter Soldier, Civil War, assassination, death of Captain America arc in the comics is pretty good. I always say like the comics are pretty much terrible. That was one of the better ones. I would recommend that one. I have the omnibus, so it's like the whole thing in one giant expensive book. That was a cool thing. Yeah, I don't remember what Crossbones did. I should go back and read that. So we also have Zemo with the purple mask. Very excited.
Oh,
for that.
it's Crossbones sniped at him, while Sharon Carter actually manages to kill him.
Yeah.
So they work together.
Yeah, but she was brainwashed. Okay, so that's about it on Falcon. Looking forward to. Oh, we have a Marvel. We're gonna do some news now. There's a Marvel Phase 4 concept art leak.
Okay.
Now you have to remember that, in these cases, the concept art can be wildly different than what you actually get.
Right.
We've seen Doctor Strange, kind of looks basically the same, more or less. There's some Wong there. This is Clea. I don't really know who that is. So I think we're seeing some Eternals. Scarlet Witch looks like she's going to keep the same costume. There's another post. We see Captain Marvel, which doesn't have a face to it. But we do see she's going to have a helmet, is what we're seeing. Like the face is like warped out so that you don't
Okay.
recognize the person. I don't know if that's because it's the actual actress and they didn't want to announce it yet, or if it's because it's not the actual actress. And then we have some Hawkeye. He pretty much just looks like the same version of himself. We've already seen the set photos of Kate Bishop, and she looks very similar. There is a Ronin outfit.
That's a woman.
Yeah. You guys are looking at this too?
I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
It's a woman outfit. They're probably not going to use that, I'm guessing.
Who the hell is the last one though?
It could just be another version of it. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so none of those really stand out to me, if I'm being honest.
No.
And I don't even know, because it's like in a different language. Let me see if the names are written here. Okay. The big reveals here, though, are first looks at Shakatil's Gomez's America Chavez. And is that Clea? It looks a lot like her. It seems like the MCU is getting a female Ronin in Hawkeye. And if the comics are anything to go by, it's Echo wearing that costume. Yelena Belova, meanwhile, is clearly the new Black Widow. Oh, that might be Yelena in that fourth image.
okay.
I guess she's going to show up in the Hawkeye show. Finally, there's Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan's costume looks exactly like you'd expect, though we also get a closer look at her Captain Marvel-inspired outfit, which is, I guess that's what the helmet was, like her like cosplay, because she's a fan.
Mm-hmm.
In the full leaked image, there's also a mysterious male character from the Disney Plus series who may or may not be the show's villain. On Reddit, there's text that goes with leaks. It doesn't reveal much, but Rintrah is now confirmed for the Doctor Strange sequel, while Yelena's Black Widow will be donning a mask, apparently. Okay. None of these are like... I don't think I'm going to buy any of these figures. But okay, moving on. Let's talk Suicide Squad. You guys watched the trailer?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it feels a lot like Guardians and not in a good way.
I agree.
Yeah.
The music it's like fun. I'm not taking this movie too seriously, so maybe that's exactly the right approach. And it does seem like they're going to go on a mission where they die one by one, which is what I said the first movie should have been. So I think he has all that right. In terms of like style, I think pre-Guardians of the Galaxy, a movie like this would have really been like, ooh, this is something different. We pretty much know his shtick by now.
Yep.
But James Gunn is a competent filmmaker. So I think it's going to be good, and then we're all going to move on, like pretty quickly. I think. It's not meant to be that kind of film, you know? It's meant to be like a fun night at the movies. You enjoy maybe some good action. The characters are funny. They die. That'll be cool, but it won't be dramatic deaths. It'll be fun deaths. They're idiots, you know, they die. I mean, he actually is the right guy for this. So he talks about why he went with why he went with the great white shark design instead of the hammerhead design. He said, I did tests with the hammerhead design, which I love and originally thought I'd use, but having eyes on the sides far apart made it incredibly awkward shooting interactions with other people. You couldn't really see him looking at the other person, and the shots tended to be too wide.
I mean, that's fair.
Also, I thought the shark looked terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
You like the
liked the
shark or you
trailer?
like the trailer?
I liked the shark. The trailer was kind of wonky.
I don't know. I actually was just like, this just looks very. Yeah, it looks like Guardians, and it looks like blasé, and I just hope they kill a lot of people very quickly, and that.
Yeah, I hope it's a fun movie. So I think we reported on this, but I forgot. But Idris Elba's not playing Deadshot. They wanted to keep that Will Smith guy alive, so they didn't recast Deadshot, but they gave him
He's like Bloodsport.
yeah,
right?
he's like the same thing though. More Suicide Squad. Here's everything you need to know about the bizarre villain from today's trailer.
Starro.
This is the star that like messed with Superman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I actually know a bit about Starro.
Yeah.
There's like different versions of it, but in general, Starro is like a brain controlling like organism
Yeah.
that like takes over planets.
Right.
It's traditionally
So-
like a jokey villain, though. It's not like a super
But
serious.
wasn't he
dark
like
thing.
small?
They
Well,
grow.
No, those are like little Starros, and there can be giant ones. Sometimes they have fleets of ships. Sometimes they don't. Like,
Yeah. Starro has the psychic ability to control and manipulate individuals and spawns smaller spores that latch onto a host's face, turning them into mindless puppets. Throw in limitless regenerative powers that allow him to heal from virtually any injury, and it's safe to say that Harley and the gang are going to have their work cut out trying to take the big bastard down. I thought Harley looked good. I don't like she still gets on my nerves, so I don't really care. But I like her costume.
Isn't it just like a dress?
No, I don't. Yeah, in the trailer, I don't think it shows it, but in the poster, she's wearing like her classic red and black outfit. Okay, let's talk Justice League. Justice League's hashtag Restore the Snyderverse supporters have started review bombing Godzilla vs. Kong.
What?
I don't understand, yeah. The negative verdicts come from fans from Zack Snyder's Justice League and supporters of the increasingly popular hashtag Restore the Snyderverse hashtag. I'm never going to support WB DC films at any cost until they restore the Snyderverse, reads one review. Give us what we want, Warner Brothers. Listen to your audience and for once look at the satisfaction over profit. Please, Zack Snyder is one of the best directors ever. Zack Snyder Cut is a masterpiece. Wow. They've only managed to knock it down to a 7.5 out of 10. Wow. Weird.
I
Yeah.
mean, you know what's funny about that though? I'm sure the movie is not gonna be that great, so they're probably like doing it like doing something good.
Yeah. 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 I yeah. I don't know what the hell's going on, honestly. I mean, do you guys want to see more Snyder stuff?
I mean, it would be interesting. Here's the thing: he has a vision, for better or for worse. We've talked about this before, right? And it is interesting to see what he does. But right now, it's in like a limbo, right? Because his stuff is seemingly stopped. Their last like normal DC universe is trash with the last couple things. So what they need, I don't know, a third option maybe?
I yeah, I don't know that I want to see Ben Affleck come back and all that. I like his style, but someone needs to write the movie for him. And I just don't think I don't know. Not interested, to be honest. Anyway, Ray Fisher says that he would return for a Cyborg movie if Zack Snyder or Rick Famuyiwa directs it.
Who's a Rick?
I believe he was the guy that was going to do the Flash movie, and then he dropped out.
Okay.
Yeah, he was attached to helm the Flash movie at one point. What else did Rick Fumiyama do? I'm getting two people. Who's Rick Fukuyama?
How do you spell his last name?
It's Fam. Fam. Oh, okay. Famuwiwa. Let's look at what he's done. He's Nigerian. He did an episode of The Mandalorian, a movie called Dope. Nothing I've seen, basically. I don't know any of these things except The Mandalorian. He did 3 episodes, it looks like. He was, yeah. So, whatever. Batwoman 2. Batwoman Season 2 adds Peter Outerbridge as Black Mask. And it looks like a cosplay, just as you'd expect.
Great.
Yay.
Yeah. And then the last big news. Spider-Man No Way Home crew merchandise appears to feature Andrew Garfield's costume. Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, crew merchandise. It does look like Andrew Garfield's costume. It also looks like the set version. You know, like before they cleaned it up with CGI. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't seem, the eyes don't seem right. But it is his outfit. It looks
So
a
at this
little
point,
different.
There's been so much noise about this, we have to assume there's some of them are in this.
Okay, here's an update. It looks like the t-shirt image might have been taken from a cosplay photo. It does look like that. Apparently the items are real, but don't appear to be official movie merchandise. This doesn't mean Garfield's Spider-Man isn't in the movie, but this isn't a new look at the character. But why would they use that? Why would they use the cosplayer photo on the crew merchandise?
Is that a King of the Hill thing on the bottle?
Yeah, it is. Sting of the Hill. None of
There's
this shit makes any sense.
Jabba the Hutt's next to him.
Yeah, this is some weird shit. I don't know why they use like. Why is it such a low production merchandise? And then it has the Marvel Studios thing logo on it, but it's all like fan created artwork and stuff.
I don't know. That's kind of weird.
How bizarre. So this doesn't mean much, as far as I can tell.
So long as they use the variant of his suit from the second movie, because that looks much better than
Do
the
you guys
first
want to
one.
make a bet? Are
Sure.
Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire in it or not?
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland?
Oh, sorry, I meant Tobey Maguire.
That's a I'm gonna bet that they are in it. But I'm gonna add a little caveat that they might not be in it very much. But I'm gonna bet that they are in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet that they're in it too. What do you think of?
Yeah, I'll bet that they're in it.
Okay, so
What a
we all
great
think
bet.
that. Yeah, all right.
Well, who's stupid enough to bet against that?
Someone who wants to make
I mean, what do you mean
moolah.
stupid? We didn't even say the money. It's just like, do you think, would you say definitively that you feel confident that they're in it?
I mean, yeah, I'd say pretty confidently. I mean, they've shown them on set. They've shown Garfield going to interviews. They've shown Tobey Maguire showing up on set in secret.
Well, we saw his stunt double. So next week we're going to do Godzilla.
Godzilla.
So we'll back with a full episode Godzilla. All right, guys, that's it. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Iron Coop Fights Movies. Please be sure to subscribe and review so that we can spread the show around. You can reach us at theironcoop@gmail.com. Join us for another edition of the Iron Coop Fights Movies.